This is my platform for me to say what I want to say. God will save the day, but you need to understand what's coming because it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get as ugly as you can ever even imagine. Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, America. Thanks for being with us. Just got a little extra energy I had to get out of the way here. So today is going to be epic. The reason it's going to be epic is because everything that we've been talking about in the past few podcasts, it directly correlates back to God's provision for hundreds of millions of Earth citizens to get a peek into the plan that God had orchestrated to give to the militaries to implement the salvation of the world. As such, we're going to get into that. Before we do, in this series, you have to look at information that's on the screen that I have here, because the information that I'm sharing, that I'm giving you, there's way too much truth in it. And for the minions, which is the body of the snake, that are still operating in places like Facebook, Google, YouTube, all of the New World Order controlled companies, the last thing on earth that they want is the truth of the powerful information, the golden nuggets that I'm giving you guys. They want to shut that down as fast as they possibly can, because they don't want us to know the truth. That's why X, that's why the former Twitter, that's why they're killing it right now, is because they put anything out there, okay? And they're not the truth police, you know what I'm saying? They're not the Ministry of Truth or anything else. They're just putting it out there under a freedom of speech auspice, which is what we're supposed to have in a constitutional republic where we have liberty and freedom of the press. Okay, we are the press. This is freedom of speech. This is my speech. This is my platform for me to say what I want to say. Okay, so read the screen, follow the screen, and that way there, you know, if we get our First Amendment right taken from us, we can get it back through a platform that's more constitutionally friendly. Okay, so I had a little teaser for you when we started, saying that this episode was going to be epic. And the reason it's epic is one simple letter, and that letter is Q. Now, I'm sure some of you have heard about Q. They have a website. Okay, it's right here, qalerts.app. Let's just click on Q Alerts right here. And what pops up is this message board that somebody within the military alliance, the worldwide alliance, started this Q posting board. We're going to look at the Q, okay? And any of you who want to get serious about understanding the Q plan, the military plan that brought together 36 powerful militaries that conjoined with the Holy Spirit to bring forth the final battle between good and evil. A lot of it, most of it, is explained right here on the Q board. And so up here, you see where it says thank you, Q plus and Q. Now, Q is a military clearance. It's the highest military clearance that you can get. That's where all the super secret stuff is discussed and controlled. It's with Q level clearance in the military. So the board master, he refers to himself as Q. And in a little while, I'll tell you who I think Q is. But it also refers to Q plus. So this board, and I didn't even realize that there was these dark webs, 4chan and 8chan, but what they are is they're basically an internet that's not part of the public purview domain internet, but it's like a back channel, internet, and it's used by, I don't know, a bunch of people who are a lot more skilled at computer, technology than, myself and people like you and I. But anyways, so there was something called 4chan, okay, and that was a dark web, okay, and so this is 4chan, all right. Then there was 8chan, All right. And again, what is HN? An extreme message board is understood to have served as a platform for the violent ramblings of the suspect of the El Paso mass shootings. They're just, okay, they're the weird dark history of HN. You know, it's a back channel. It's not inherently good or bad. It's an alternate platform of the internet is the best way I can explain it. So these posts, although the link here to the Q alerts is on the main internet, it started posting on the dark web. Okay. I think they must have had a special reason for it, but eventually it went into the mainstream. And so the Q intelligence drops. All right. So I could say for the date, I'm going to go back to October 18, 2017. So October, okay, go back here. I gotta find it. I don't know why it's because within the Q website you can actually search for certain dates. So I'm gonna say November 1, 2017. I'll search by Hillary. Yeah, there we go. All right, so here we go. October 28th. This still should have come up November 1st. Okay, so this is Q post number 1, October 28th, 2017. Now, there's Q. Q is the board master, and I don't know if it's one person, which I think it is. I think the Q board was master. It was the main poster, I believe, was John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., who was supposed to be dead. This is just from everything I've gathered. I believe that he's alive, and I believe that John F. Kennedy Jr. is Q. Now, going back to, I said there was Q and there was Q plus. Q plus is Donald J. Trump. On this posting right here, you have what they call anonymous. The reason that they call it QAnon is because Q does a post, and then the Anons, which is millions of followers of Q, they ask questions of Q to get answers back. And so you have these posts of questions and answers going back between Q and the Anons. And that's why they call it QAnon. But there's Q and then there's Anons. So in this post, very interesting, it says, and if you hit this arrow, it'll open up, and just Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, the morning of October 30th, 2017. That was 2 days before Q is saying, okay, listen, we're going to give you a peek inside of the military sting operation, but this isn't for public consumption. This is only for consumption of people who are part of the Q movement and who are paying attention to the military sting operation that's going on. So it says that Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 and 8:30 a.m. on Monday, the morning of October 30th, 2017. Well, for public consumption, nobody ever heard of the fact that Hillary Clinton got arrested on October 30th, 2017. But I can guarantee you that Hillary Clinton got arrested on the morning of October 30th, 2017, because of her crimes against humanity and her treason against our country. I'm not going to get into all of the exact things that Hillary Clinton did, okay? But just suffice it to say that the Q board, the Q plan, is giving us classified information, okay? And keep in mind, for the Anons or the people that follow Q, they're in every country across the entire globe. There is hundreds of millions of Q followers across the planet. And so I would say right now, there's probably about 200 to 300 million people who follow Q and follow the Q board. The Q board was set up to be part of the Great Awakening. Okay. It was to expose some of the crimes and some of the things that these treasonous bastards were doing. And it was to give us hope that the military is saying, hey, we're going to let you know some of the things that we're doing. This is all highly classified. Some stuff we can share with you, some stuff that we can't. We have to present it to you in a covert fashion that it looks like a bunch of conspiracy theorists. But if you do the math, you know that everything on the Q board is 100% truth and 100% fact. I call it the last book of the Bible. This is a book that's giving us information about what God is doing and what God is about to do to put an end to the satanic cabal, the New World Order, the world controllers, the world enslavers, the swamp, the international swamp. Now, you got to keep in mind that these people know that Hillary was guaranteed to win the presidency because of the rigged election. When the military stopped in and blocked the machines from cheating, from allowing her to cheat her way to the election victory, okay, that's why she never gave a concession speech, is because she was guaranteed that she was going to win and break the glass ceiling at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City that night. But the military stepped in, the Q plan stepped in and said, no, you are finished. You are done. We are taking you out, and we are taking you out today. So they lost their minds. There was a 16-year plan. Obama would decimate our military for 8 years. Hillary, whom I refer to as Killary, because they just murder everybody in their way. Hillary was supposed to finish off decimating our military over the next 8 years. Okay, that's why they were bringing in woke generals, and they were getting rid of patriotic, God-fearing generals. It's a massive conspirator that involves millions of people across the planet who thought that they were going to control us, but God had a different plan and a different idea of how he wanted this to go forward. So it says here, HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, extradition already in motion, effective yesterday with several countries in case of cross-border run. Passport approved to be flagged effective 10:30, October 30th, 12:01 a.m. Now it says here, expect massive riots organized in defiance and others fleeing the U.S. to occur. U.S. militaries will conduct the operation while the National Guard is activated. Proof check. Locate a National Guard member and ask if activated for duty 10:30 across most major cities. This is where it gets really interesting. Q says that because they're in an information war, disinformation is necessary as the chess match goes on between the deep state players, the world cabal, and the militaries. Okay, you have information warfare going on, and there's tit for tat every day. The deep state makes a move, the military makes a move. The deep state makes a move, the military makes a move. Everything is about the narrative and information warfare because of the fact that the rogue CIA has controlled the public narrative in the information warfare for 50 years. The American people don't know anything other than the bullshit that they're fed every night with the nightly news from all these different news organizations. The reason I point out this one on the bottom is I believe that this part here, so the part above right here, the part above, this is when it actually happened. And I believe they're going to the military is going to put out what happened on October 30th, 2017. I believe that they're going to put this part out right here in 2024. I believe that they're going to put out for public consumption the Hillary Clinton deal in 2024. All right. Now, see down here, see where's 4chan right here? This is where it was originally posted, 4chan, but they brought this post into this Q Alerts website. Let me just share with you something a little bit curious about the Q Alerts board. The CIA, the FBI, all these three-letter agencies, Department of Homeland Security, all these departments, and they were trying to arrest Q, who was posting this information, okay, that was exposing all of these bad actors within the government. But with all the gates of hell behind them coming against Q, did you know that they had no idea whatsoever who Q was. They couldn't find out. The most powerful intelligence agencies in the world could not even find out the name or the description or the physicality of the person who was putting these posts on 4chan and 8chan. Just think about that for a minute. That alone should blow your mind to smithereens when every intelligence agency in the world cannot figure out the identity of Q. Okay. And let's just say, for instance, that they did find out his identity, and let's say it was John F. Kennedy Jr., right? Are they going to go on MSNBC or NBC News and say, oh, we found out who Q is? It's John F. Kennedy Jr., who was supposed to be killed in a plane crash November 22nd or whatever, 1999. Well, of course not. They couldn't, because now everybody on the planet would be saying, well, wait a minute. You bastards told us he died in a plane crash in 1999, and now you're telling us he's Q? What the hell is going on here? So Q up here says no new Q post since number 4,966 on August 25th of 2024. Whoa. Wait a minute. August 25th. That's today. Hang on. Whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did Q post October 25, 2024? This is really weird that it said there wasn't, because the last time Q posted information was in 2023. And when I saw that they haven't posted since August 25th, I got to look into that, because Q, now that we're getting towards the end, Q is going to start posting again. Okay. So Q posted 4,966 posts, okay, revealing all kinds of different information. And so I'm going to encourage my audience to just start reading these Q posts, okay? Start reading these Q posts, and a lot of the information that was attached has been scrubbed from the internet, okay, because these people read the Q posts and they say, oh my God, we got to take that down. But, okay, so you come down here, all right, and up here you see this is Q Trust the Plan. That's why I call it the Q Plan. The Q Plan is how the military is going to destroy the swamp, the international swamp, the New World Order, the banksters, the drugsters, the treasonous bastards, the Satanists. They're taking them out. So you could start on one, and then you hit this 2 button right here, okay? And that'll take you to the next one, all right? Now, this one is the same day, October 28th, 2017. Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird was the rogue CIA illegal information warfare against the American people vis-a-vis the complicit mainstream media. Operation Mockingbird was basically all of the propaganda that the CIA would feed to the American people for at least 50 years in the information warfare game between the globalists and the people. That's why it says Mockingbird. It's referring to the CIA operation that just shoved propaganda down Americans' throat for 50 years. It says Hillary Rodham Clinton detained, not arrested yet. It says, where is Huma? Follow Huma, and that's Huma Abedin. If you'll recall, Huma Abedin was married to Anthony Weiner, and Anthony Weiner is that congressman who got thrown out because he was texting naked pictures to little girls. But Huma Abedin was Hillary Clinton's personal assistant, and all of Hillary Clinton's crimes, when the good FBI went in and arrested Anthony Weiner, they got Huma Abedin's laptop, which had all of the criminal emails on his computer, and he had it in a file that he called insurance policy. Now, why was it an insurance policy? It was a blackmail insurance policy to say that, hey, if I go down, everybody else is going down at the same time. So that's why he didn't go to jail or didn't get, in trouble for, being a pedophile. So that's what it's talking about. Follow Huma. Q says this has nothing to do with Russia yet. And what Q is referring to there is the Uranium One deal, where Hillary Clinton basically sold, as Secretary of State, she basically took a bribe and sold some of our uranium to Russia. Large, super large amounts of uranium. So then it says, why does POTUS, President of the United States, surround himself with generals? Question mark. Well, he surrounds himself with generals because this is a military operation. This is a Q clearance military operation, and he's got the military putting everything in place to do a 7.5-year military sting operation that's going to obliterate the deep state. What is military intelligence? What military intelligence is, just like there's a CIA, just like there's an FBI, there's 17 different intelligence agencies. And the military intelligence, what that is, that's the non-contaminated intelligence agency, and that is the savior of the world. That's the only way that the military can pull off this plan, is because the military has all their own separate gathering apparatuses, okay? And the technology, I believe that the technology that the military intelligence is using above and beyond what the other 16 intelligence agencies were using, I believe it's like night and day. And I don't even think those other agencies had any clue as to the technology that the military intelligence was using to collect all of the evidence on these treasonous bastards in these other intelligence agencies, because they use the intelligence agencies to control people worldwide. So what is military intelligence? Military intelligence, that's the clean intelligence agency. So Q says, why go around the 3-letter agencies? Meaning, why does Trump have to go around all the other 3-letter agencies? It's because they're captured. They're corrupt as hell. They're captured. The upper echelon is controlling everything important. And so it doesn't matter if you've got 97% good people, good God-fearing people at the bottom doing the work. It's the people at the top that are pulling the strings. And it's those who control the strings who control the show. So I want to stop here for just a second. The reason that Q, John F. Kennedy Jr., in the way that he can expose the information to the Q community is the fashion in which he presents the information. Okay, do you notice all the question marks? What is military intelligence? Question mark. Why go around the 3-letter agencies? Question mark. If you ask something in the form of a question, it's a question. When you put a period at the end of it, it's a statement. If you ask a question about something, you're asking a question. You're not stating a fact, and you're not exposing classified information. You're just asking a question about classified information, okay? And Anons have the intuition to say, oh, there's a question mark, but it's a question mark and a period at the same time. So this was the way that Q was able to divulge classified information to the Anons, is by virtue of the fact that Q put the classified information in the form of a question mark and not a statement. Technicality of the law, because all this had to be done right. It had to be done constitutionally. It had to be done by the law. It had to be done by the military law of war manual. All these things had to come into play. So they had to do it, but they had to do it right. What Supreme Court case allows for the use of military intelligence versus congressionally assembled and approved agencies? This is the keys to the kingdom of God. Again, everything has to be done lawfully. The Supreme Court clarified law that allowed for the President of the United States to use military intelligence separate and apart from your normal legislatively assembled agencies, the CIA, NSA, all the 3-letter agencies, the other 16 3-letter agencies. The Supreme Court handed down a decision that said, well, wait a minute. The president has to be able to use military intelligence because of the fact that we have military law and we have common law. And so Donald Trump and the military and the saviors of the generals, the military leaders who are saving our world. God gave the supernatural wisdom and technology to the military intelligence for such a time as this. Next line. Who has ultimate authority over our branches of military without any approval conditions unless in wartime conditions? Well, that's the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief has ultimate authority over the entire military without any approval conditions when we're in a wartime setting. Abraham Lincoln said when the House and Senate were coming against him and criticizing him for the use of the military to save the republic, Abraham Lincoln, in the wisdom of God, simply said, and I'm paraphrasing it because I don't have the exact verbiage memorized, but in essence, what Lincoln said was this. He said, am I supposed to let the Union, the country, our republic, am I supposed to let it destroy itself as I wait and ask the Congress for permission? Or do I do what I'm supposed to do, which is I'm the commander-in-chief and I do what I need to do in a military, in a wartime situation? Do I do what I need to do to save the republic so that we can fight about it later? And that was the correct answer. The president, the commander-in-chief, gets to do what he needs to do in a wartime situation. He's the commander-in-chief of the military. And if he does it right, he can sit there like Lincoln. He can say, ha, I did it right because I saved the Union, because I didn't wait around for you idiots to give me approval to use the military. Now, if he had abused it and he didn't follow the law of war manual, okay, and he did it for nefarious purposes, well, then the president could have been court-martialed and gone through military tribunal. That's part of the law of war manual. When you get into military law, when you get into wartime conditions, yes, presidents and prime ministers and kings can be held accountable to the people through the law of war manual. So the next question is, what is the military code? The military code is the law of war manual. It's the manual that we follow. It's when we're in the conditions of wartime. We don't follow the Constitution. The Constitution gets put on the shelf and it says, stay there until we get back to you. Now we switch over and we go from the Constitution to the law of war manual. Why do we do that? Because it's time to take the gloves off. And we have to fight off the treasonous bastards, the satanic masters. And you can't do that in a nice way. You can't deal with these scumbag in a nice way. You just got to take the gloves off and you got to pound the shit out of them and get rid of them. So that's what Trump did. He took the gloves off and he pounded the shit out of the deep state, out of the treasonous bastards like Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. Where is Anthony Weiner being held? And why? In this time frame when Anthony Weiner got in trouble with sexting to these young girls, he got brought in to military intelligence, and I'm sure that he sang like a bird. And I believe that Anthony Weiner is the number one witness against the Clinton murder machine. And I believe he's being held in protective custody to this day. Why do I believe that? Because this is Q post number 2, and the first witness that is being held is Anthony Weiner, who has on his laptop, he has the location of where all the bodies are buried. It says next, POTUS will not go on TV to address the nation. POTUS must isolate himself to prevent negative optics. When the military goes out and arrests 1 million people for treason and all this other stuff, Donald Trump is not going to be sitting there, oh, I had to send the military in and arrest all these people. You're going to see military generals on TV explaining what's going on and why they're arresting 1 million people. Donald Trump cannot have the negative optics. Okay, the people who are on the other side, they have to know that this is a military operation. It's not a partisan operation. This is the military taking out the Satanists. So you're not going to see Donald Trump, taking credit for doing this. It's military. POTUS knew removing criminal rogue elements as a first step was essential to free and pass legislation. Who has access to everything classified? Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States. Do you believe that Hillary Rodham Clinton, Soros, Obama, all these clowns have more power than Trump? It's a fantasy. The most powerful person on the face of the earth at any given point in time is the man that is called the President of the United States of America. Now, in the Devolution series, you'll understand why Biden is not really the president, but there's a devolved government. There's a shadow government that's actually running things. But we'll get into that later on. Whoever controls the office of the presidency controls this great land and the world. They never believed for a moment the Democrats and Republicans, would lose control. See, everybody, it's a uniparty. It's not Democrats and Republicans and independents. That went away a long time. That's bullshit. What it is, it's a uniparty. It's one party. It's these globalist elites that control everything. They control all the propaganda and the bullshit that gets shoved down your throat every night on the nightly news. Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, that scumbag, that Boehner, criminals. That's not to say that there are not some good, God-fearing, respectable people in the Congress and the Senate. It's just there's very few of them. And the winnowing fork will tell us who they are very soon. This is not a Republican versus Democrat battle. This is a battle between good and evil. This is a battle between those who would enslave humanity and rule us like communist Marxists and other God-fearing, freedom-loving, liberty-loving people of the earth. Because if there's no liberty in the U.S., there's no liberty in France or England or South Africa or anywhere. They never believed for a moment they would lose control because they controlled the machine until God stepped in with the military. Why did Soros donate all his money recently? Why would he place all his funds in RC? Mockingbird World, October 30th, 2017. God bless, fellow patriots. That's just Q post number 2. That's the second post. And Q says the military is going after the Clinton crime family and they're going to take them out. So I'm not going to belabor the fact because this has kind of been a long one, but it's an epic one. Okay, I wanted to give you some really good foundational items as to what is this military plan and how do we know about it and what does it tell us? Well, this tells you a lot of what you need to know, but there's other sources we're going to be talking about in future episodes that pulls all this stuff together. But it's massive. You have militaries that are going to be arresting 20 million people who conspired against the world to enslave humanity forever. God had a different idea. Thanks be to God who always causes us to triumph. You can go on and you can read these Q posts. There's 4,966. You can't even absorb 25% of the information that's in it. It's just because this world is so complicated. The different chess pieces across the board, things that we think that are or not, things that appear like we know who's running North Korea. We don't. Who's running China? The British? We don't know that. We didn't know that. Putin is denazifying Ukraine. Well, they don't tell us that on the TV. But he's doing the dirty work for Trump to get the Nazis, okay, to denazify Ukraine. That's a very ugly war. We're in the final world war. It's some kinetic. It's information. 90% of this war is information warfare. It's the narrative. It's the things that they tell us that they want us to believe on the television. 10% of it is kinetic, and it's going to happen in Ukraine, and it's going to happen in Israel, and that's wars and rumors of wars. But the threat of worldwide nuclear war is coming, and that's what you want to prepare for mentally. God will save the day, but you need to understand what's coming because it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get as ugly as you can ever even imagine. So we'll stop there for today. We'll pick up more on the next episode. Take this epic golden nugget, dig into it, and find out for yourselves what Q is all about. Thanks for joining me, folks. So, folks, if you like my channel and you like the golden nuggets that we're delivering, please hit like and also subscribe. And also, you can comment anything that you want to say or questions that you have down in the comment section, and we'll reply to that. Thank you.